Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sister who helped us with this translation. The translation reads like this. My name is Jacob, not his real name. I am a 38-year-old police officer from South Africa. I have seen a lot in my years on the force, but nothing prepared me for the darkness that I walked into after discovering that my wife was having an affair. I thought that I knew what revenge looked like, to shoot her, to kill her, but I did not want anything that connected me to her death. But now I realize that there are lines you should never cross. I learned this the hard way, and I am haunted by the choices that I made. This is my own story, my life's story. It was in early 2021, right after the COVID lockdown, when I found out that my wife, Lerato, not her real name, was cheating on me. We had been married for 12 years and we had built a life together that I thought was unbreakable. But one day I came home unexpectedly. She had unlocked her phone and she was busy with other things. So I am that type of a man who never cared about going through my wife's phone, but something in me just told me to go over her WhatsApp. When I went through her WhatsApp, I found messages on her phone. There was a man who was at my house. They had planned it out. The man had came and had made love to my wife. That totally shattered me. When I saw my wife had sent some messages after the man had left, telling him how he had given her a good time. She was seeing someone else. This was a younger man who worked at her office. I confronted her. I had so much anger, and what even made me to feel bad about everything, she denied everything. Since her phone had locked itself when I was busy with it, then I did not have the opportunity to forward the message to my own WhatsApp, and I had no proof. She took the phone, she rushed with it. You won't even believe these women. She went and she dumped it in the toilet and she flushed until the phone was no longer working, and she blamed me for everything that had happened, for being overworked and me neglecting her. I was angry, I was really desperate, and I wanted her to feel the same pain she had caused. And I knew that if I was going to get so heartbroken so much that I was going to kill her physically, then it meant death for me. And I was really confused on what I was supposed to do. I promised her that if she was going to end her relationship with her lover, and if she was going to stop going to work, then I was never going to tell my own relatives, including her relatives or anyone. This was going to stay between us. She then asked for my forgiveness. I forgave her and we moved on. But in my heart, I did not move on. At first, I thought secretly about divorcing her, but I had so much to lose because everything that we had been doing together. I had so much anger inside of me. I wanted her to suffer. That was when I remembered that there was this other time when we pulled over this other bus on its way to Zim. Then the man who was the bus driver joked with me. It was just a simple joke. When I told him that I was going to get him arrested for overloading, he then laughed and he said that, well, you can do that, officer, but I'm going to bewitch you. So with the situation that I was facing, I thought that it was a better idea to have my wife bewitched so that she can die. That was when it happened. I then arrested this other man. When we arrested the man in a sting operation near Livombo border post, he was a Zimbabwean man, and during our interrogations, he then told that he had been using some charms to avoid getting caught. He would steal the cars. He was working for a syndicate, and he would drive the cars to the border post, and another Mozambican national will pick up the vehicle from him, and they were using this other Sangoma. The Sangoma was in Mozambique, who was making them invincible so that they won't get caught. At that time, when I heard the story, I dismissed it as nonsense. One night when I was in bed, I looked at my wife and I said, maybe that man that had been arrested, he could offer me a solution. I then started visiting the men in prison as if I was just following up on some questions that were unanswered. He was surprised to see me, but he quickly realized that I was not there for official business. I asked him about the charms that he said that he was using and if he knew anyone who could help me with a personal problem or if it was just a lie, the things that had been written on his docket. He smiled, understanding exactly what I meant. He told me about a Sangoma who was from Mozambique who could help me deal with Lerato in a way that would ensure that she would never hurt me again. Over the next few weeks, me and this prisoner, we developed an unusual relationship. He was eager to help me, and then he gave me directions to a small village, he said, near Maputo, where he said the Sangoma was staying, but he warned me that these rituals that were performed by that man, they always required blood, and they were not for the faint-hearted. They were like for people like him. He said that this man, he was going to assist me if I told him that I had nothing left to lose, like the man that I was speaking with. And I was willing to do whatever so that I can make my wife to pay. You know what it feels like when your wife has cheated on you. So in April 2021, that was when I took a leave of absence and then I drove to Mozambique. The journey was long. I did not even know what exactly was going to happen going there. I then arrived in that village late in the evening. I was given a nice place to stay, and then in the morning, the Sangoma, I was told, was waiting for me in the consultation room. I got into that consultation room, and then I told him about my wife and how I had caught her cheating on me, expecting him to offer me a charm, like some form of medicine to win her back, like I wanted to use that love potion on her or make her regret her betrayal. But instead, the Sangoma looked at me and he asked me a simple question. He looked at me and asked, why not sacrifice her? Is it not the revenge that you truly desire? I was taken aback, but the words stirred something dark within me. He told me that it was far much better that she died so that I can make money. He instructed me to return back to my own country, and I had to bring something of Lerato's, a piece of clothing, a photograph, or anything, even her hair. I returned to South Africa. I gathered the items. I did not want to leave anything. So I took some of the things that she used on her hair. I took even her underwear, and I took her t-shirt and one of our old pictures, which I had cut, and I had removed myself from the picture. I drove to Mozambique. I handed everything over to him, and he started speaking, and a chicken was brought before me, and I was then given a needle. I had to kill that chicken using a needle. It was a terrible thing to do, for the needle was quite small, so you can just imagine the wound that I had to inflict on that chicken. I had to do it over and over again until that chicken went into shock. By the time that I finished killing that chicken, I was screaming. Like when someone is scared of what they are doing, you start to scream, releasing that anger. That is what I was doing. So by the time that I was done, I saw that there was blood everywhere on my wife's personal stuff, and then everything was burnt, including the chicken. When I returned back to my country, then in 2023, she started to feel so ill. The doctors could not even determine the cause, and then she passed away. When she passed away, it brought me relief at first, but in time, I have seen that the things that I did, it was not worth it. So the day of the funeral, on that day, I still remember when we went to collect her body from the mortuary, something really strange happened. We tried to load her coffin into the Hearse, but her coffin became so big it would not even fit. I don't even know how to explain. The coffin got so big within a couple of seconds, so much that it could not even fit into that car that we wanted to load it into. It was as if there was an invisible force that was holding the coffin back, refusing to let her go. For nearly an hour, we struggled. The funeral directors, they were even sweating as they tried to push the coffin in. The coffin was finally pushed into the hearse. And then people started talking. The relatives already, they were suspecting one of her cousin's sister, because the moment that she died, like the Sangoma had told me, I went to visit her with some charms. So these charms were going to cause disunity in their family. So they started accusing each other of witchcraft, and they claimed that since the coffin was refusing to enter into the hearse, her spirit was awoken and she was already fighting with her cousin sister. They did not know that it was me. As we drove to the cemetery, I kept on seeing her. I saw her several times, and from there on, I kept on seeing her spirit. She appeared in our bedroom. Sometimes I can even see her in the shower, until I went to another Sangoma. So this Sangoma, he has since given me something that I am using whenever I am at work or I am at home. I am always using this charm so that I cannot see her spirit. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.